Welcome to Photo Finds. I am your host Kevin, and this week we are starting about a week or two ago, actually, and we're going to begin over at the Universal Studios Resort. Now, as you can see, Pasta More has undergone some construction over here, and they are basically gutting this side of the restaurant, although the other side, the dining side, remains open. This is what the Harry Potter expansion looked like about a week ago. We've got a couple of weeks to catch up on here, and as you can see, it's not just very vertical, but the Tyvek has gone up around the sides, and it looks like they might be adding roofs at any point soon. In fact, the roofs have gone in and have started getting blue coloring on the other side of the train station, meaning over in the Islands of Adventure side. This is the show building on the back over here, so now I'm close to the Fear Factor facility. As I take this picture, you can see even more of the skyline kind of taking shape in the Harry Potter village back there. Now, it's been open a couple of weeks. I didn't get a chance to cover it last time around. This is the Simpsons Expansion area, where the Bumblebee Man's tacos includes various varieties, and I can report that they're all pretty good. In fact, the carne asada taco, the steak taco, was fantastic and something that I think I'll be getting pretty much every time I'm coming here. These here are the carne asada tacos. Actually, no, this one here, excuse me, is the Korean beef taco, which is actually, in some ways, a little bit less impressive than the steak taco, despite all of the different vegetables you see listed there. Now, there's a Lard Lads Donuts giant statue. You can see the scale right there, as well as the facility selling the donuts behind it. These are the prices, and so it's really more about the novelty, I think, than value in this case. I did like the completely fake synthetic grasses that they have here in the Springfield area, and this statue of Jebediah Springfield. Those of you who know the show might expect the head to have been sawn off and placed back on, but that's not the case. The statue shows no sign of that having occurred. There is a Duff Brewery Beer Gardens area in the back here, and some of these Duff characters out in the front. We'll take a look at those topiaries again in just a moment. Here we are, some of them there. Some close-ups, Surly and the others. Buzz Cola, one of the things they sell, as well as Duff beer itself, of course. And the merchandise facility next to it selling a lot of Duff merchandise. The Duff beer itself is not for sale to go, although reportedly it will be coming as a walk-around, as a can that you can walk around with in the future. These are not the actual breweries. They brew from somewhere local in Florida. Now, as this picture was taken, Kang and Kodos, the spinner in the background there, you can see it peeking over the fence, had not yet opened. It has now opened in the meantime. Haven't been back to take those pictures, but we'll get that update for you pretty much as soon as we can. A couple of last shots of the facility at the Duff Brewery and the themed trash can, as you can see down below there, and the backside of the Jebediah statue with the quote that Simpsons fans may recognize about embiggening us all. There's a water feature here as well when the fountain turns on, as though the hydrant had been knocked over from the Chief Wiggum statue. People like to take pictures with Wiggum there. Now we're switching over to Downtown Disney, where as you can see there's some construction going on here. This is behind Lanuba. We're in Lot Q for reasons you'll see in just a moment. That's behind Downtown Disney, behind the House of Blues. And there's a wall going up here. I'm not sure exactly what's going on next to Lanuba, but there appears to be some construction there. And let's follow the construction wall around. You'll see there are two sidewalks. This sidewalk on the left was not here previously. So our view of the lake, which we'll look at in a minute, did not have a sidewalk. There was just this one sidewalk, which is now right next to the construction wall. There's that view of the lake and some facilities which have been removed in the Pleasure Island area. This is a peek over the fence behind Lanuba. There's a lot of land has been cleared for presumably part of the Disney Springs expansion. In the meantime, Disney Quest has gone totally blue. So there was previously some icons and some other designs out on the outside here. They looked pink and a little bit dated in some ways, and so the facility's just gone completely blue. I have no idea if there's more decorations to come. Now, this is why we were in Lot Q. Many of the lots on the front side of Downtown Disney have been closed for the Disney Springs conversion. Now, we are standing at the AMC and Disney Quest corner here, and this closure stretches all the way over to the end of Pleasure Island in the T-Rex area. You can see here the map of what's going on in Downtown Disney. We are standing here, and there are quite a lot closed in the middle part of the parking there. This was a DVC booth not too long ago in Downtown Disney. I'm not sure why they've moved. They're not usually in the habit of closing DVC booths, but this particular one was unmanned, and the signage is gone from DVC. This is opposite the area that used to be home to Magnetron, is now home to clothing store next to D Street. A little bit more construction here next to the balloon. You can see that this bridge is under construction here, presumably to replace the bridge that I'm standing on right now as I take this picture. That says that even more is coming to the Disney Springs area here, that they need to move us around the area differently. This is the bridge that presumably will be removed, and what's normally looming in the background here is the Comedy Warehouse building, and that should be part of this image. It is not. So Pleasure Island is on its way out. Comedy Warehouse is already gone. This is taking a picture through what used to be Comedy Warehouse. You couldn't used to get a picture of T-Rex and its mountain range on the front side there like this because there was a building in the way. So here's the wall where the Comedy Warehouse used to be. Here's the view from the bathrooms at that area there. And this entire area in the background was once that Comedy Warehouse building. You can see Curl, which has moved next to Splitsville, is lost its signage. In fact, a couple of the signs are still out there, but the other ones have already been removed. A reverse view of that same area, missing the Comedy Warehouse building, and then a view down the, really it's a trench of walls, construction walls, as you work your way down this corner of Pleasure Island, peeking over the fence. You see kind of a staging area. This is behind the cigar area, and to the right side of that, what was once Apricot Lane now removed its signage, and behind walls as well. You can see the signage was removed right there. And the backside, the waterfront, which had a waterfront stage there, was a back entrance over to the Comedy Warehouse area. Really kind of a closed and pleasant corner because few people used it, now blocked off as well for additional construction. One assumes this entire block, which is now completely closed off, is on the chopping block. They could get rid of it and it wouldn't much matter because there are no more tenants in that area. Around the front side of all those closed parking lots are these trailers, which I don't recall being there before, and presumably the Walt Disney Imagineering trailers, their forward operating base for the Disney Springs project. Over at Planet Hollywood, on the day I was visiting anyway, you see a limited time, you could see the Patriot armor. That's the Don Cheadle armor from Iron Man 3 was inside the restaurant. One way to get you inside. We're switching over to the Transportation and Ticket Center. This sign is new next to the bathrooms on the outside of the TTC, pointing to where the various buses go. And then into the Magic Kingdom, where a couple of these walls have been added to all of these roped off areas. And so these walls were new, giving a little bit more permanence to some of the divisions between the entrance, no longer turnstiles, but gateways. And this has cropped up new in the Town Square Theater, the MyMagic Plus Service Center, where you will find iPads cleverly hidden inside these leather-bound books, really, that lead you to the app. So My Disney Experience, MyMagic Plus app, where you can do things, including eventually FastPass Plus alterations and look up plans and dates and so forth. And I like that it even had the Town Square, the TS design right here, including the 1901, which is one of the hidden details about the decoration of that facility in the first place. It's there in the tile floor, and it's there as well on that little book, the leather-bound book that they put on the iPads. Now, 2 weeks ago, this was under construction, the Stitch stage, so they had to do DJing from the side. It's already actually completed, and we saw the Stitch stage this last weekend back in fighting form, so that was a very temporary thing. Over at the Mad Tea Party, I haven't taken a picture of it since seeing this little well thing, not used for anything. What you see it's turned into is this beautiful sign showing both the standby entrance and the FastPass entrance. And I especially like this little detail that the clock for the FastPass entrance is tilted to imply this is the little stopwatch, the hand watch that the White Rabbit would use in the Alice in Wonderland movie. Couple of views of the Mine Coaster now under construction, even more of the track which had been placed before now being unwrapped and visible. There you see it from the side, and there's the other side, all of that rock work now colored. And the Princess Fairy Tale Hall has taken on some new color. The gold and blue areas here were not previously colored or I think even visible. There's the front view of it, obviously still some time away from done. Now this is a barrel outside of the Peter Pan FastPass area. You can kind of see it over on the side. And until recently it said something about Ray Carlson, I think it was, something like that, who was the fire chief, Lost Boys Fire Brigade. The fact that the name changed should clue you in that these are in fact real people. These are Reedy Creek Improvement District fire chiefs. The guys who are actually the fire chiefs of Walt Disney World basically get their own barrels. And so there's a duplicate of this barrel over at Big Thunder Mountain Railroad that had the other name. I don't know if it changed over to this name as well, but there's a new fire chief at Walt Disney World, and you can tell by the barrel. While we're here in Fantasyland, this caught my eye. We're in the PhilharMagic store, as you can see in the background. A Rubik's Cube with Disney characters on it. I thought that was kind of neat. Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom pins available as well. And keeping with the merchandise theme, we're in the shop next to the Haunted Mansion, where you can see the candelabra, the candlestick holders here that are familiar mock-ups from what you can see in the stretching gallery, and then some other merchandise. I think these were coasters that are themed to the tombstones from inside the graves, inside the end finale scene of the Haunted Mansion. And a couple more shots on the merchandise front. Park Stars Vinyl now available for trading, where you can see what they are, and more of them available for trading, where you can see what they are in the Vinyl in general. Less of the hidden trading. Over to the Grand California. Next to the Magic Kingdom is the Grand Californian at Disneyland, but here we have the Contemporary Resort, where the California Grill, there's the connection, has been under construction for some time. This is the kiosk on a lower level where you check in and then take the elevator up. It has actually switched sides. It used to be on the left side of this hallway, the left side of this picture. Those are the elevators. I don't know what was over here previously, but this is the new location of it. And as you can see, it appears to have some new colors. Now, the restaurant is not open yet. We'll bring you info when it is. Magic Band paraphernalia for sale over at the Contemporary Resort, where the Magic Bands have been available for some time. These T-shirts about "I'm with the band" and "band together," I'm not sure how long those are going to last. As you can see, you can buy different bands that go underneath your RFID part, or bling basically that clips onto the outside holes as well. Here's a new character in Disney's Animal Kingdom. This is Bamboo. And Bamboo does not replace Divine, if you've met Divine before, who's more like a vine creature, but merely augments it so that they could exist side by side, although they haven't done so yet. Bamboo was new this past weekend, out meeting guests, as you can see in the walkway between Africa and Asia. And behind that walkway, near the Tusker House, you can see this construction of the Festival of the Lion King building. When it's done, it will be housed here behind Africa. These are some of the signs and the wall, the construction wall next to Tusker House. We thought we'd follow that along and just show you how it leads all the way over to Tusker House with no other access. Back over to the Magic Kingdom TTC area. This building has been under construction for a little while. I finally managed to snap a picture of it. It's right next to the cast member, so one assumes that will be a cast member facility. The Haunted Mansion, these interactive queues, as you know, is now really the only queue you can go through for standby, and this particular interactive spot is not interactive, at least not on the day that we visited. These books are supposed to pop out one at a time, but they don't pop out anymore. They seem to be turned off on both sides of the display. Now, not too long ago, there was a DVC stand right over here in front of the Haunted Mansion, while there was a construction wall behind me as I take this picture. That wall is gone, and now the DVC location has been built anew. This is a new version of it. And as you can see, it still says the Counting House, and the nice reference to 1971, the year the park opened, still part of the Counting House, and it's excuse me, I said DVC earlier. This is actually about the Disney Visa signage in the background. Pirates of the Caribbean has gotten new boats. There's probably no way you can tell by looking at them, but they feel very much like hard impact plastic. So the sorts of things that you might expect a truly heavy-duty garbage container or recycle bin container to be made out of, the kind that your garbage truck can pick up with automated claws and shake things loose. That's what this boat appears to be made of now. And these rubber ends kind of squeak together a little bit more loudly, but interestingly, they found a way to make it less jarring when the boats hit each other, so they absorb more of the impact, but it makes a bit of a louder sound. Now, at the exit to Pirates, you're in this pirate shop, and you've probably never seen this particular angle before. We were looking at a doorway that leads into the pirate shop, the Pirate Makeover Boutique, but these windows were previously frosted over. They were covered up. And it turns out that they are necessary because this is part of the Treasures of the Seven Seas, the Jack Sparrow interactive game. There was a way to activate the game right next to that previous picture, and then you peer inside the facility where this map lights up and is part of the game. So even while things are going on inside here with the makeovers and so forth, you can participate, and they leave it open for game participants even after the boutique is closed. Here's something you don't see every day, a brand new Disney bus. So they've got this design on a couple of buses that are gray. I happened over the past weekend to see one used on a bus that was completely white rather than any of the gray elements. over to Disney's Hollywood Studios, where I think this US 66 sign is new, and the luggage I think has been repainted. This is on Sunset Boulevard. Min and Bill's Dockside Diner has had some of these sandwiches previously, the Frankfurter and the roll and the Italian sausage, but the bread cones are new here. Now, we had seen bread cones for sale over at Downtown Disney. This one is a variation of the meatball one. It's got sausage instead, and was quite tasty, actually. The chicken, bacon, and avocado salad, a little heavy on the mayo, a little light on the avocado. And we didn't try the Cajun shrimp salad, but it was reportedly very good. They come served to you in cups so that they don't spill everywhere. It's a little bit smaller than the size might imply, of course, because it tapers off as you get down toward the end. And that price you saw quoted did include the potato chips. And I did appreciate that operationally they've moved to this system where you have one single line and then you go to whichever cash register opens up next. It always seems a little bit more fair to me when they do it that way instead of trusting that you choose just the one right line. Saw Goofy in this new outfit, at least it was new to me, not sure what that was all about on the past weekend. And as you move around the resorts and the parks, you'll see increasingly the Fast Pass Plus entrances are getting new signage and so forth. This one points to one around the corner. And as you can tell, it was limited time magic this past weekend at American Idol Experience where the juniors were able to play. People under 14 normally cannot play. So we'll come back and have a look at those later in this show. Sofia the First, speaking of shows, a new Disney show on Disney Junior now has a meet and greet area outside of the Disney Junior Live on Stage area where she's meeting kids, and there's the signage for that same area, and here she is showing up to meet people, and as you can tell, she is a foam head, a rubber head character, very unusual for a princess. Almost all princesses are face characters, but Sofia is not. Next to Sofia is this meet and greet area for Jake and the Neverland Pirates. I don't know that I've ever taken a picture of this, and might even be new, done the same time that the Sofia meet and greet area was done. We went over to the backlot tour to grab a look at Walt's plane, as you'll see in a moment. This amused me in the line that instead of having different movie posters, as they usually do, for the first time I've ever seen them advertise just the one movie over and over and over again, as though it's the only thing out. Now, in the warehouse, the Planes movie got its due. This is just before you get on the tram tour itself. And a friend pointed this one out to me, I think it's been there forever, that the Acme is a trademark of Warner Brothers. And so Warner Brothers gets its due in a theme park that's owned by Disney. Now, the Adventurers Club plane has been there for some time as part of the tram tour. This is the costume warehouse behind us. We're about to circle around the Eiffel Tower and go into the costume warehouse. And so this boneyard area with the Adventurers Club stuff, that's been there. But the Gurr mobiles built by Bob Gurr and at use at Disney Hollywood Studios for some time, those have always just been backstage. So they look like they brought them here on display rather than in use. And I do always appreciate the nods to history. Here's 89. That's the year the park opened, 1989. Though it wasn't called Disney's Hollywood Studios at that time. Now, I'm not sure if you can tell where we are. We're at the Catastrophe Canyon, looking away from the action and toward these gauges here with these double ears. And so it seems to be a pretty obvious hidden Mickey, especially when you look down below. It's just a new one to me. Look down below at the cone. Instead of saying keep clear, it says keep ear. The CL have been rubbed off. Now here's Walt's plane. This is the reason we're here today because, as you can tell, Walt's plane, the one that was used to scout the Walt Disney World property with Walt on board, has been converted for use as an advertising vehicle for the Disney movie planes by virtue of having a smile added and these eyeballs added. So it turns into something like Cars. A little bit controversial in the fan crowd. Sorry for the blurriness of the picture, but the AFI Film Exhibit at the end of the backlot tour has continued to add things since I've been there. This Oz Great and Powerful display, as well as finally putting something on this wall in the back, the Lifetime Achievement Awards, and filling in this display case with some additional costumes at the end there. And while we're in that shop, I noticed these toothpick holders. They are called at Disney World, some of which are ride specific. That's Rock and Roller, Tower of Terror, Hollywood Studios, and Pixar. There's another view of that Sofia because she's no longer here meeting people. It turns out it was raining earlier that day, so she doesn't meet people out in her area. She goes inside here, the animation building, to meet people where it was a lot less crowded, actually. I think people didn't know to go look there. So if it's raining, go look for the characters inside the animation building. More planes posters are up in the animation building. You get a closer look at one such poster. And this, which was previously the Wreck-It Ralph sunken office, is now the Monsters University sunken office. You can see some of the decorations strewn around are really specific to the movie, which I still haven't seen. And it's been some time now since the Incredibles are meet and greeting people up here, and the spin around objects, this one as well as this one down below, used to be up here with the Incredibles. Now they're out here on this floor next to the You're the Character, and over to the left where you have the Wreck-It Ralph meet and greet area. So those are still around. And behind all of that is the Sorcerer Mickey meet and greet area. If anything looks new to you, then you're in the same game as me. Something caught my eye and we verified it with pictures later. These posters of Mickey Mouse cartoons were not previously part of that backdrop. And the backdrop looks freshly painted anyway. So they continue to tweak things as they refresh them. I haven't been in this hallway for a long time, so possibly these are not that new, but these pictures over on the left caught my eye as new to me. That's Rapunzel walking through the city, and still more from the movie Tangled concept art. Now, back to American Idol, as we said, they had a different opening because they couldn't say things about, going to the real American Idol. And as you see, it's the juniors edition. In fact, the host is wearing a little bit less formal a costume and outfit than usually I've seen them do. The performers were all 10, 11, 12, 13. Instead of being 14 years old. These are the judges on this particular day. And as you can see, they bring the performers backstage for the big reveal of who wins. Probably done so that they don't feel embarrassed in remaining on stage when they lose, because after all, they are under 14 years old. And so one of them did in fact win and was brought back on stage. This fellow was the one who won the 6 o'clock show. They're only doing one of these shows per days for underage people, and in fact the promotion is now over, so that was his only shot. This is what a magic band looks like close up, and as you can see, it's got a Mickey on it. In fact, you have to touch Mickey to Mickey when you're paying for something, so that it's really a question of centimeters, not inches, in order to pay for something, and hopefully that means no accidental payments. And then our brave host and publisher of Orlando Attractions Magazine, Matt, gave this picture to me to ask if any of you guys have ever seen this. A little bit of a shadow figure in the Tower of Terror window. This is as taken from afar, I think possibly from the parking lot. It's not a detail I've ever noticed before. Neither of us obviously knows if it's new or not. Please feel free to chime in whether you've seen that particular image before, and if so, when. And then while we're here at DHS, they also have something at the front of their park that is MyMagic Plus oriented. In this case, they are television sets, or themed to look like television sets, again with iPads in the middle of them. So they're a great fit for the primetime cafe 1950s era, a little less of a great fit for the 1930s era, which is supposedly Hollywood Boulevard, but it's still a great theme. Now, we're switching parks entirely. We're over in Tampa, at Busch Gardens Tampa, in the Timbuktu area, where you can see the Desert Grill in the background. There used to be a sort of a flat spinner right here, and Falcon's Fury, as you see, is going to be on this spot in spring of 2014. It's a tower ride, and you can see a little bit of the concept art here, where once you're strapped in, you are facing the ground during the entire drop of the ride. And so they have started the vertical construction of Falcon's Fury here at Tampa. Now, I have not been over here in some time to see this, but it looks like they've permanently walled off this shortcut from the Timbuktu area over to the Stanleyville area, and everyone has to go through Jungala, which was just one option before, but now everyone does it. And this was new over in the Crown House, where they have a restaurant and pub. They've got craft beers for sale over in a little nook that previously had nothing there. So that was a pretty exhaustive tour around Orlando. There's some other things to bring you next week, but there's only so much we can do in a given time period. We thank you as always for your attention, and we'll catch you next time.